So why is no one talking about the battles that goes on in our head? The battles between what the world wants us to become and what we really want to become. There is constantly a struggle between what the society expects us to be, what our family expects us to be, and deep down within us, what we feel we should be. For 10 years, or let me say over 10 years after I finished school, I never decided what direction I really want to go. And if you are like me, this video is for you. Or probably you are still in a phase where you are yet undecided what you really want to do with your life. It is an inner battle and it is real. Thank you for stopping by to watch my video. My name is Jide. I am a Nigerian, but currently I live in Canada. I talk about mindset most of the time, and if you look at my recent videos, I've been ranting about things that we face currently as the global economic shift, geopolitical tensions, tariffs, imposing the position of tariffs on countries by US, climate change, rising unemployment. A lot of things happening in the world, and each time we switch on to the social media or to the news, there is something happening somewhere that keeps us discouraged, that keeps us less hopeful of our chance of survival, of really becoming who we really want to be. But that aside, my focus in this video is the battle that goes on in our head, in between our two ears. That is only we ourselves that understand what is going on. Why is nobody talking about this? So this is the essence of this video. I have been through it. I have had struggles finding my voice. There is an expectation of the people around me, of my family, of the world, of me. I am required to perform in a particular way. I am required to meet up to an expectation. Okay? Why being social is part of us as human. The drawback of being social is the unexpressed, unwritten prayer that it brings on us to measure up to a certain level. But when we don't measure up to a certain expectation of the society, we become significantly depressed. We are brought under prayers that we struggle with day in and day out. While some people can handle the prayer, so many others crash under the prayer of meeting up with the expectation of the society. Some even commit suicide. Like, they had battles nobody understood they were going through. So even those that were supposed to understand the battles they were going through also expected them to perform, even when it wasn't their intention not to perform. There are some performance you will want to have: financial performance, academic performance, career performance, marital performance, that you're expected to have based on the expectation of the society. But because you are not able to meet those performances, you are being looked upon as incompetent or as unwilling to meet up with the expectation. For example, if you have applied for a job for the past 1 year and you didn't get a job, someone might think you are not applying enough. It happened to me some months ago, okay, when I was actively writing my resume and looking for a job. A friend of mine just casually expressed, like, probably I am not sending enough resumes. It's okay. I didn't take it personal. So I just felt like that's one of the things that will happen. People think you are not doing enough. That's why you are still at the same level, below their expectation. But what is the essence of this video? The essence of this video is to make us realize that not everyone will understand what we're going through, and is understandable, but it will not be nice for us to start thinking down on ourselves, to start making goals, to start having vision. So that is where we need to come in, okay, to tell ourselves, even though no one is believing in us, even though no one believes in our potential, and they have actually judged us based on our outcome, but deep down within us, we should know that we have the potential to become the best we can, even though our result currently does not reflect the capacity we carry. And it is okay for the world to judge us, but it will not be okay, it will not be nice if we ourselves fail to see that there is a potential in us. Okay, so in this video, I want us to come to the term that there is nothing easy, there's nothing good that comes easy. When life hits us in an unexpected way, what should we do with it? If after 10 years of finishing school, you still having struggles to know where to go in life, it is the reality. It happens. So now, what do we do with what has happened? If you are measuring your life by how much you have achieved, probably you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you have children, but currently you seem not to have really found your feet in life, let alone helping your children to find your feet in life. Well, it's okay, but it's not okay to accept it as your fate, to accept it as the final verdict, okay, for your life. It is now time to sit down and re-strategize. What I did in my own case was to look at my 10 years. What did I do wrong? What was I supposed to do 10 years ago to have given me a different result? It is okay to have setbacks. It is okay. All right. It is okay to have challenges. Everybody has challenges. But it's not okay not to analyze, to find the what, why of the challenges, so as to draw insight from it. Because the wise man does not keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. If after analyzing the past 10 years of your life and you seem not to be where you ought to be, that is because of the decisions you made 10 years ago. So the decisions you made between 2015 and 2025, okay, is responsible for where you are right now. The decisions I made between 2015 and 2025 is responsible for where I am now. So in next 10 years, 2035, if you are going to be if you are going to be in a new level, achieve different results, obtain different status, we must begin to make different decisions now that supersede the one we made 10 years ago. It's not just about wishing our next 10 years will be better than our previous 10 years. It is doing something about it. Sometimes I take my personal strategies from global strategies. Currently, we all know what BRICS is doing. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. These guys are re-strategizing, okay? They found out that what used to work will no longer work. Countries that used to be an ally is now becoming an enemy. And what should they do? What did they decide to do? They decide to form new allies. So in politics, okay, it is known that there is no permanent enemy, there is no permanent friend. Okay, once your interests allies, that is it. So In global politics, countries understand, okay, that there is no permanent enemy, there's no permanent friend. And that as event changes, if you used to be my enemy, but you decided to align your interests with mine, then so be it. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're in Africa or you're in North America or you're in South America. Once you have the same interests with me, well, we can be an ally. Okay, so there's a re-strategizing of global strategies. What insight can we get from such to apply to our personal lives? Now let's look at it. If things stopped working, we should know when it stops working. A few days ago, I did a video on before submitting your resume, what should you do? It is obvious that what used to work in the job market is no longer working, and we should recognize that it's no longer working, and then we need to re-strategize, okay, to have a better result. So that is the same mindset I'm bringing to this video, that if we have been stuck in the last 10 years of our life, probably we have benchmarked ourselves with some of our colleagues we finished school together, and we see significant gap between what they have achieved and what we have achieved. That is a good observation. That is one of the first steps, okay, for better future performance. But the next step is finding out what happened. What did we do wrong in the last 10 years? And what could we have done better? Okay? Because there is a high chance that we are going to obtain the same result in the next 10 years like we obtained in the last 10 years. Because one thing that is difficult for us to change as people, as humans, is our habit. We find it difficult to break our habit. And our habit, what we do constantly, keeps us where we are. The secret to what is happening in our life is in what we do consistently. There is a force in our habit that ensures consistency of our result. If only we discover that power that we have in our habit to guarantee consistent result, we will start choosing a better habit from now on. If we realize that there's a force, okay, to mobilize resources around us, okay, in line with our desire, through what we do consistently, we will know that we have so much power to change our circumstances. So rather than we getting hopeless about the tariff, about rising cost of living, about immigration rules changing, we need to settle down, get away from the noise that is poisoning our mind, that's not making us to think right, to sitting down to understand that it is not what is happening that is more important, but what we do with what is happening. Okay, so recently I was doing a research of what countries did during COVID. COVID happened to most countries, to virtually every country, but each country did different things during COVID. Some countries made strategic decisions that is giving them a competitive edge right now, whereas some countries made foolish decisions that is keeping them behind every other country right now. So while COVID happened to everybody, everyone did different things. So it is not what happened during COVID, it's what people did during COVID. Some individuals discovered new business opportunities during COVID, and right now they have a strong business that is dominating in their market. I made a strategic decision in 2020, okay, that I will forever look backward and say thanking myself for making that strategic decision in 2020. I told myself in 2020, when I discovered that I was not making a significant career progress, that I was not going to continue that way. Okay, I made a strategic decision to leave Nigeria, okay, to go and challenge myself in another country where I feel I need to be challenged to do something serious with my life. So for so many people, for some people it was starting a new business. For me, it was having to leave Nigeria to embrace a new challenge elsewhere. To some people, it might be taking a new course. To some people, it might be going back to school. To some people, it might be getting married. To some people, it was different to different people. COVID happened, okay? But some people happened, right? They decided to make better decisions during COVID. So the same thing is happening right now. What are we doing with what is happening will be more important than what is happening. What we're doing with what is happening right now is going to be more important in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, than what is happening right now. If only we will stop listening to social media, if only we will stop being emotional, be controlled by the news we hear, and rather focus on what we want to become in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, which will really make a difference. Most people will be consumed by the current news. Only strategic few will be focused on what they want to obtain in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. What those few people really do with the news they hear is to re-strategize, not to change their focus or their plan. To such people, the current news of events happening in the world, to such few people, it is not to stop dreaming. It is not to stop strategizing. It is to re-strategize. It's to have alternative plans. Okay, recently, Brazil started to re-strategize its coffee export industry. If US is going to place a tariff on its coffee, it better start looking for market elsewhere. And guess what? It's finding another market in China. Okay? Coffee probably is the second or third highest traded commodity in the world. So when Brazil is losing US market, it is strategically finding another market in China. So when we think a door is closed, it is because we have closed in our eyes to see another door that is opening. So let me come back to where I started from. If we have not made significant progress like we wanted to make in the last 10 years, we have the next 10 years of our life to correct the mistakes of the past 10 years. It is not the time to be depressed. It is not the time to go into drug addiction. It is not the time to go into crime. It is time to look in within us. Even though the world has an expectation of us, even though there's peer pressure, even though there's financial pressure, even though there is a lot of things speaking to us, asking us, what do we have to offer? Those are noise. What we need to do is to look within us to see the passion, the dreams, the vision that each of us has, okay, to dominate our world and start focusing on those. So that is the essence. That is how to survive in times like this. That we need to look within us to start finding the motivation we need. If we are failing, if we look at the social media, if you look at the news to find motivation, I tell you, we can look at the news from now till Jesus comes and we will not find motivation. Yeah. there is no motivation in the news. So we need to look somewhere else. We need to start looking at where we will get our motivation, our inspiration to forge ahead at times like this. So at the beginning of the tariff incidents in April, when Donald Trump was imposing tariff on different countries, okay, it was the beginning of uncertainty in global economy. But I love what one woman said. She's the CEO of Linama. Okay, Linama is known for manufacturing of equipment of car parts in North America. Okay, and it has branches. It has manufacturing plants in US, in Mexico, and in Canada. So I know it's manufacturing location in Canada, in Guelph, Canada. So I love what she said. Okay, because at that time, in April, Trump was placing pressure on companies to relocate their manufacturing site back to US. Okay, but she said she cannot relocate every other manufacturing site outside US back to US. She said, I love what she said. She said, at this time, it is important to separate noise from vision. It is important to separate what noise is from the strategic vision the company is running with. Did you get that? So, like I said, I love borrowing strategies from what companies, countries are strategically doing. So I can borrow a strategy from that. That personally, I need to separate what is noise now from what is my future strategic move. The problem is not the problem. The problem is that we don't have strategy for the next 5 years and the next 10 years of our lives. It is hard. That is a brutal statement. That is a hard statement on ourselves. But the truth must be told. The truth must be told. We need to start telling ourselves the truth now. Most of us do not have a strategy for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years of our life. And we are wondering why we are not having a direction. We cannot have a direction. We cannot get to the top we want to get by mistake. Even if we get it to the top by mistake, we're going to come down, because the world, the life, nature has a way of rearranging things in order. So in other words, Linama company said they have a strategic vision which does not include relocating its manufacturing plant to US. And that whatever Trump was saying, was trying to do, was just, as matter of fact, was just noise. So now we need to separate what noise is from what really is the direction we're going. If we don't have a direction for the next 5 years or the next 10 years of our life, we will just end up in uncertain location. We will end up in a location or at a point we do not imagine ourselves to be, either financially, either maritally, either career-wise. So wherever we want to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, should be our preoccupation now, not what is happening. Because what is happening right now is noise. It's a distraction. If only we understand that we have so much force within us. Okay? If only we understand we have so much propelling force within us that is able to propel us in the direction that we want, we will start taking ourselves seriously. Are we going to be confident enough to say no to the noise and then be bold to take the future that is being challenged? I am a millennial, okay? I grew up at the time when school taught us to go to school, have certificates, and then apply for a job. That strategy used to work. At the time I started working, it used to work. But now, it no longer works. It is not the best strategy to hit the ground running. And new graduates are currently finding it so hard to get a job to start their career life with. So it is not right, it's not high time individuals started to find out the best strategy, which school is not going to teach you. It is from one's personal revelation and vision that one we're going to develop a strategy for the days and the years ahead. We are having unprecedented technological advancement that was never seen in the history of man. We now have AI, we now have agentic agents, we now have innovative technologies that is going to make us more productive than we ever had been in the history of mankind. While there is a lot of noise about whether AI will replace humans or not, some people are busy creating the solution, okay, that the world is going to need. So are you going to be caught up in the noise of whether AI will replace you or not, or you are actively creating products and services, creating solutions, okay, that the world is going to be depending on in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? I would rather not be caught up in the controversy or in the noise. I would rather be focused, okay, on my vision for the next 5 years or the next 10 years. So that is my ranting today. That is my vision. That is my sharing today. So I hope somebody gets this passion of mine, and we're gonna make a different decision from what we used to make. Okay, I'm making a new decisions that's going to counter the decision we made 10 years ago, so that we can have a better 5 years and 10 years ahead. I used to say, okay, act like an individual, think like a company. Act like an individual, think like a company. Even though you are just one person, okay, but you are strategically thinking for the next 5 years and the next 10 years. You are strategically seeing the global trends, and you are also seeing your own trend within the global trend. Let mega trend be your friend. I make mega trends my friend because I can always see my own trend in the mega trend that is happening. I don't see mega trends as noise, as news, as disturbance. I just see how I need to position myself, how I align myself in the mega trend that I'm already seeing. So what do you see? Do you continually see joblessness? Do you continually see financial depression? Or you see yourself becoming the next big thing that your world is waiting for? So the choice is yours. But I made a choice to be the next big thing my world is waiting for. Thank you for watching this far. Please, I would like you to subscribe to this video and then share it and let the algorithm spread the message of this video. Together we can become better than we've ever been. Thank you. Bye.